friends, and thanks for joining me again. And I've got a doozy of a story for you today, seriously. Okay, so I had picked up my kids. I was in the kitchen or dining room, somewhere in there. I was just cleaning up. I knew my husband was going to come home here in about, half an hour or so, probably about an hour. And so I was just getting some things picked up, and I heard a knock at the door. So I went over to look to see who it was, and I have a window in my door. It's kind of at the top, so I kind of peeked over to kind of look out the window, and I saw there was a car in the driveway that I did not recognize at all, and a woman standing at the door who, again, I didn't recognize. So I was just like, well, I'm not expecting anyone. I was basically thinking to myself, there's no reason why this person's, should be here. If they're selling something I'm not interested in anyway, I'm just not even gonna answer the door. So I stood there and I kind of watched her, and she kind of was looking around, kind of looked down, and then she'd look around again, she looked down, and then she paused a second, and then knelt down, grabbed something, and then started running back to her car. And then instantly I'm like, oh, she's stealing something off my porch. That ain't happening. So I quick unlocked the door and I ran out after her. So she had gotten in the car and they were backing out, and this is about the time when I realized that she wasn't alone. She had gotten into the passenger side of the car, and there was a dude in the front seat and was driving. And it wasn't just any dude, but this dude looked big, like a really big dude, and even maybe a little on the rough side with like the full sleeve tattoos and the whole bit. So I was like, oh crap, this was kind of stupid. But I'm like, you know what, I'm already outside, I'm already getting up in their faces, I'm just gonna keep going with this. So I was like, hey, I saw you steal. Are you stealing from my porch? Are you stealing from me? I saw you steal off my porch. And so they were like quick trying to get, out, like back up, and then trying to get out and into traffic. So I kind of like swung around to where I was sort of more in front of the car, not directly in front of the car. I mean, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. So I was kind of sort of in front of the car, and I was basically like, hey, I know you're stealing off my porch. And they had their license plate on the dashboard, and I read it off to them, and I'm like, your silver four-door sporty car with the license plate, blah, blah, I was like, if you don't give that back, I'm going to report you to the police. And so I kept yelling that. I think I yelled that 2 or 3 times. And then eventually they rolled down their window, and she was like, oh, well, the FedEx guy who just pulled out of here told us that he might have delivered our package to the wrong house. And I was like, really? Let me see the address. Because I was thinking to myself, dude, I saw her. She knocked at the door, she looked at my package, and she grabbed it and ran to her car. If she really thought that the FedEx guy delivered her package to the wrong car, she wouldn't have run back to the car, ran back to the car, and she definitely wouldn't have been trying to like pull out and into traffic as fast as possible. No. Her story isn't holding water. So anyway, I was like, let me see the address, let me see the address. And so she looks at it and she's like, you know what, this isn't even the type of package I was, supposed to get anyway, blah, blah. And then she handed it to me, and I grabbed it from her, and I was like yelling all kinds of ugly stuff to her. I'm not even sure what. It wasn't cuss words. I can honestly say this whole time I didn't say a single cuss word. But don't come back here again if I ever see you again. I don't even know what I said. Who knows? And then they drove off. And so immediately I called the police and I reported it. Somebody just tried to steal a package off my porch. I did get it back, etc. And then a little bit after that, I posted it to Facebook. I posted it to Facebook in a like neighborhood watch page, which if you're not on those, you need to get on those. So it was posted in the neighborhood watch, and I got flooded with comments and shares. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I put the description of the vehicle, her description, his description, the license plate. I put all of that publicly on Facebook, and everyone was sharing it like crazy. And a little bit later, I actually got a Facebook message from someone, and it said something like, I think I know who that was. That's my, not going to fill in the word just in case she ever sees this. I don't want her to know who turned her in, but I think that's my. And she's been bragging that she's been stealing off of people's porches basically all, week. She basically follows around the FedEx truck, and as soon as the packages get delivered, her and her boyfriend pull up and steal them. They're on heroin, and this is how they're funding their, high. And so I called back the police and I told them, look, I got a message from someone. I think I know who this is. And I, said the names, and, You know, I looked them up on Facebook too before I called the police to make sure that they were the right people. So I made sure, and yeah, sure enough, as soon as I like looked up her name on Facebook, I was like, this is totally her. And the boyfriend, she had pictures of her with the boyfriend too, and I was like, yep, that's totally them. So yes, long story short, that is how this whole thing went down. Somebody tried to steal off of my porch, and I, without thinking and acting out of anger, chased after them. Which, first of all, before I even get into the other things about how to get, make sure you don't fall victim to this same sort of thing, that is stupid on steroids, guys. Stupid times 100. Don't do that. I don't think that it would ever happen to me. I think that I was one of those people, oh, well, it won't ever happen to me. So I never had a plan in my head as to what I would do if this happened. So when it happened, I just kind of acted, again, out of anger, which was stupid. So let me give you a few tips on how you can make sure this doesn't happen to you, because especially this time of year, it's very common that people are getting packages stolen off of their porches. They're called porch pirates. They basically go around and steal the packages. And again, she had mentioned that the FedEx truck had just left my property when she came on it. And so I would have had to have been super fast getting the package before she would have gotten it, because that was what she was doing, was following around the truck and, getting to it before you could get to it. So my first tip would be shop in stores. I'm a big fan of shopping in stores, and so when I do my Black Friday shopping, etc., I usually do it in stores. There was a couple of items I wasn't able to get in the store, and so I ordered them online, which is what this item was. My second tip would be to have a ship-to-store option. The stores that offer this option are definitely worth taking them up on this. I know Walmart does that. They do a site-to-store, and so you will order the item online, and then you actually pick it up in your local Walmart store, which is definitely smart, because then obviously no one can steal your packages off your porch. The next one would be to ship to a post office. Frequently, you can actually ship your package to a post office, and then you can pick it up at the post office, and so that's a really smart way to get it done too. You could have a P.O. box, a post office box, then you don't even have to have the lines that you don't have to wait in order to pick it up through the teller. Obviously, post office boxes cost money though, so that is something to consider there. You could ship your packages to your family or friends. If you know you work during the day and you wouldn't be home in order to get to the package on time, don't leave it sitting on you don't want to leave it sitting on your porch the whole time you're at work. You can ship it to, say a family or a friend who's a stay-at-home person, and then they can just give it to you, or you can go pick it up, next time you see them, etc. That's a smart way to get it done. If you work a full-time job, you can have the package shipped to your work possibly. Then you don't have to worry about it getting delivered while you're not there. You can schedule delivery days or times. This can, specifically choose days that you have off, or certain times of the day that you might be there to have it delivered, and so that is a good option. You can sign up for text or email notifications to know when your packages have been delivered. I will say that my package had come from Walmart, and they do have an email service where they send an email saying the package was delivered, and I got that email an hour and a half later. I mean, she was following around the truck and picking up the packages, so I'm assuming that maybe the system was just overloaded at the time, and so there was probably some kind of delay, or maybe it's always that slow, I don't know. But for me, this instance, that would not have worked for me. The package would have been long gone by the time I got that email address or that email notification. But I'm sure some of the other carriers, or maybe other times of the year, this is more reliable. So that is one of the options available as well. A smart mailbox is another option. If you're not getting packages necessarily, but you're getting letters that have a lot of value, you can have a mailbox that's connected to your Wi-Fi that notifies you when anybody opens it. So it'll, make an alarm or send you a, notification on your phone that it's been opened, and then you can immediately go get your mail before someone else gets it. So that might be a good option as well. I will say though that smart mailboxes are not cheap. So yeah, this is an option, but not a cheap one. You can get your packages to where they require a signature. This does usually cost money, but if you're having something shipped that's expensive enough, it might be worth it. You can pay to insure your packages. Again, this one costs money too, but if they're an expensive item in there, if it does get stolen, the insurance will cover it. So, definitely one of those things that might be worth it if you're ordering expensive things. Some of the carriers, UPS and FedEx, at least here, do offer the option to deliver to a side or a back door. Currently, the post office does not offer this option. but they will deliver it to the back or side of your house so that it's not sitting right on your front porch and it won't be as much of a target, you know, for thieves. This is a cool tip that I actually got on my Facebook post. One of the people who commented on my post said, what if you put together some kind of a decorative thing that goes on your porch that on the top of, you know, you have a little like blurb or something written on it where it says packages go in here, but from the street it just looks like a decorative thing, you know? So I loved this idea. You could put something on your porch that looks like it's just decoration, but it's actually a hiding spot for your packages so that they're not visible from the road and therefore aren't going to be as much of a target from the thieves. One of the things that I did and that has seriously helped my stress level is I got a door alarm or a driveway alarm. They have different names, but it's basically a motion sensor that you put outside, and then it has a wireless receiver that you plug inside your house. And so whenever it senses motion in front of your house, it makes a sound inside of the house so that you know somebody's there. If she wouldn't have knocked on the door, I would not have heard or known that she was there. I assumed she knocked on the door to see if anyone was home and then steal the package, and when I didn't answer, she assumed I wasn't home. But the wireless alarm would have made all the difference. It would have chimed to let me know that there was a person who was coming up to my door to deliver a package in the first place, and it would have chimed again when she was here to let me know that somebody was there. So people don't have to ring your doorbell, they don't have to knock on your door. All you have to do is have motion outside and it makes the noise. Again, this one has been fabulous. I'm going to show it to you here in a second, and this has made a huge difference again in my stress level. Okay, I know it's getting dark. Hopefully the lighting isn't terrible, but just as a quick demonstration, I'll show you how the doorbell thingy works. See, as soon as somebody starts walking up, it makes its chime noise. Works really good. The problem with the door alarm is that it's only good for when we're home. So if we're home and the alarm makes the sound, then I know someone's here. But what if we weren't here? What if I was picking up my kids, or if I had a job to do, or some other thing to where I'm not here? I'm not going to hear the alarm. What if someone comes up, tries to break in, tries to steal again, these sorts of things. And so the second thing that we have done is we've put up a security camera. And these weren't as common, 5 years ago, 2 years ago even. But they're really becoming a whole lot more popular. So you don't have to buy an entire security system. You can buy even just one camera, and not only have the prices come down, but the quality has gone up. So you can buy a very high quality item for much cheaper. So the one we bought was about $38, something like that, 38 with change, and it's a high definition camera, full color, and then at night it has a night vision thing to where, if anyone were to try to break in at night, we would see that too. It even has a motion sensor on it so that when it senses motion, it records, but if there's nothing there, it's not just going to record hours and hours and hours of nothing, which will make it a whole lot easier to figure out, if we have to go back through the footage to find out what happened. Another thing that's really good about this camera, or having a camera in general, is that if you do have a package stolen, it's a lot easier to get a refund, because if you just tell, Amazon or whoever you've had your package stolen from that you had a theft, they don't always just give you a refund right away. However, if you have the footage to prove it, not only is it easier to file a police report proving that you have had something stolen from your porch, but you can much more easily get a refund. So yeah, a camera is, I think, highly recommended. A lot of these security cameras even have an app to where they can alert you when there is motion in front of your house. I was unable to choose this as my option because the front door is really far away from my router and it doesn't get Wi-Fi, which is why we chose to do the two thing system. The camera, which records to an SD card, a micro SD card, so that if we need to go back through the footage, we can get it. But then also the door alarm that makes the noise, so that I didn't have to rely on an app telling me when there was something at the door. Because again, I was just worried that the Wi-Fi wouldn't make the connection from that far away. And then hopefully with all of these tips, you won't have to be a victim of the same thing to where if somebody tries to steal from you, you have the proof, you can get your refund, or you can even stop them from stealing in the first place. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. I'm Frugal Green Girl, and we'll see you next time.